practical examples of awliya who displayed taqwa. And the reason why I did that is because the best way to learn is to have exemplars, isn't it? So when you have clear examples and you know what taqwa, I mean, you can give rules for taqwa. Taqwa's like this, taqwa's like this, taqwa's like this. But it's just theory. But then you see some people and you realize, oh, that's taqwa. Because taqwa comes in interesting ways. Taqwa isn't like, see, there's a type of taqwa here. All right, let me put it this way. This is one perspective. Taqwa can be of two types in this regard. This is my own taqsim. There's one taqsa which was expected. It was expected. Like for example, somebody, they're rigorous in all of their sunnahs. That's taqwa, obviously. There's someone that's rigorous in terms of their daily wadhaif. A portion of Quran, reading whatever it may be, adhkar, the sabah, masa adhkar. And then there's taqwa, which it comes in those, because that's daily activity. And the problem with that is it becomes habit. So for some people, it just becomes norm at that point. It's like, for example, is it taqwa? It is actually taqwa to do this, by the way. But is it taqwa to get up in the morning and go to work? Obviously, earning halal income is min babi rizq. It's actually good deeds. The Prophet ﷺ said the best fard after the fara'id, the five fara'id, is halal amal. Imam Muhammad al-Shaybani, Imam Azam Abu Hanifa's famous student, he has a whole book on Kitab al-Kasb. The book of earning, where he teaches people what's the best professions to be working in, etc. So but at the same time, it's not like I'll give you an example. It's not like a kamai. When we say, we say in Pahari, bari kamai kiti, yes, right? At the end of the day, if a man, and I say this specifically to men here, if a man got up and went to work and earned money for his family, that's not a kamai, really, is it? That's his fard, that's his obligation, right? In a traditional setup, when that's the case, obviously we know that people don't always live exactly in that way, and circumstances do force people to change their family patterns. But in normal habit, it's not like, oh, shabash, they come here for gaj. It's expected. You're a man, what else do you do? Somebody works hard. Then people should be grateful for that. People should be grateful for that. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Likewise, if it's their job to take care of the home, it's not a kamai. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. When people do things, you should always be grateful to them. Thank you very much for cooking this wonderful food. Thank you very much for taking care of our family. Thank you very much for... Of course, we should be grateful to each other, but bizatihi, in essence, it's your job to get up and go to work. So is it really from Bab al-Taqwa? So from one aspect, yes, it's from Bab al-Taqwa. From another aspect, it was what you were supposed to do. So in that regard, it becomes a habit. What's extra? It's when somebody works very hard for their family. They're in difficult circumstances, they work hard. That's where you can say to somebody, mashallah, you put in extra effort. For example. Likewise, the 5 namazah, for example. You read Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. It's not like kamai. Main aj 5 namazah padiyan. Kamai to kone kitti. That was the basic obligation. The same way you had to get up and go to work, you had to get up and do this. Bas. Or koi kamai ko nahi is vich. No shabash. You just did what you were supposed to do. And it becomes habit. Adat, isn't it? And then it's just ticking along. Tick, 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 tick. So where does taqwa often come in? Not to say that this isn't taqwa, by the way. Taqwa sometimes comes in those really, those particular moments where you have a choice. When you have a choice to make, and you think to yourself, Jeme hai kitana, the balle balle. But it's mashkook. For example, we had a conversation yesterday. I visited Fazane Sadiq Akbar. And mashallah, he's looking at me thinking, what are you going to say? Huh? What are you going to say? And so one of the brothers, Allah bless him, asked him a question about insurance. About if you can I get insurance on my phone? And he's looking at me like, what do you mean insurance? What's wrong with insurance? Insurance, bizati, is haram, isn't it? It's not permissible. The only reason why the fuqaha allow car, shocking, isn't it? Subhanallah. Maybe we should do kitab al-buyu'. We should do transaction law on the microphone. That'd be interesting. Probably 3/4 of the business will close down. And Allah al-musta'an. I don't say that with any kind of judgmentalness, negativity. Mare aapne tene Quran mein aur kuch kya kha, but lekin shariat is shariat. Right is right, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's not my philosophy. I don't believe in that. Because honestly, I think it was who said it? One of the Sufi poets from Pakistan, India. He said, I went out looking for the faults of other people. And then what was the Shasam? Bafrid? Oh, mashallah. Do you remember what the verse was? And I didn't find anyone with fault except myself, right? That's a shan as well, isn't it? Allah kullin, so I'm not jumping into that, right? Allah Ta'ala put satar over all of us. Ameen. Ameen. Azati ya bachche liya ki Allah Ta'ala satar rakhi. Allah's put a satar over us, and that's why people look at us. Otherwise, if the truth was exposed, subhanallah, people would run from the stench. Allah's Kareem. It's Kareemana andaz that He deals with us. In any case, so he asked the question about insurance, so now I should start from the beginning after looking at your reaction. So insurance in and of itself is not allowed. Why? Because it's considered by the fuqaha as a type of gambling. Yeah? Because look, you think you're paying for a service, but you're not paying for a service. What you're paying for is if something was to go wrong, then I'm going to get a payout. So because is there a chance that you will not get any money or any benefit? Yes. So it's not a service. A service is you can pay for the service as long as you're getting a faidah from it. But with insurance, now the common question is going to be that is it not the faidah that you're protected? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Is it not a faidah that I'm protected? Is it guaranteed you're going to take the faidah? Was that your question? Okay. Yeah, so basically the idea of private healthcare is the idea that you pay. Now, if what you mean by that is you pay a subscription to say that I get access to that doctor, right? And you're paying that's a service, that is my doctor now. I'm paying you to be ready for me, for example. That's different. Like I've got a khadim in the house. I've got a khadim. Now if I don't use the khadim, it's up to me. But I'm paying for the service. But sometimes when you're paying for something which is insurance, which is, I'm paying this, I'm not getting anything. But if something was to go wrong, now I'm going to use it, such insurance is haram. Now, what the fuqaha said was that when there are darura, necessity, like for example, it's the law of your land to get car insurance. Misal ke taur par. It's the law of your land to get these X, Y, and Z. Here they made istithna. They said, why? Because you're bound by the law of the country. So therefore, such insurance. Even then, some of them said, you only take third party. You don't take fully comp. Right? So, but the point is, so in that, from that bab, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Maybe I'll do something on this, right? Because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's very difficult, But from this bab, right? So the question was, I'm going to pay anyway. I could also just get my phone included into that. Now that may be, so what I'm trying to say is here, if you ask me, like let's say you ask Zaid in a personal way, Zaid might be like, yaar, just chup kari diyo te kari kino. You see what I mean? Just chup kari diyo, right? Now that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, so here's the taqwa, isn't it? So the second verse of the Quran that he uses here, this is beautiful as well. He says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Have taqwa of Allah as much as you can. Yeah? Meaning, give it your all. And if you fall short, it should only be because you were majboor. Not because of your hawa. Not because of your hawa. For example, I gave the example of the exceptions that the fuqaha made. That's your istita'ah. But where you can, and then look what he says here. Allah Ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Gal agar karni hai to siddhi karni hai. Right? If you're going to speak, you speak properly. Yeah? You speak directly. Right? No messing around with this. So here, taqwa is that. Taqwa is, this is why you can't judge people's taqwa as well. I'll tell you why. This is what I found, and you probably have your own experiences with this. Is that your taqwa is not necessarily my taqwa. Because we find different things easy and different things hard. We all have different tribulations. I'll give you an example. You take one guy and he sits there and he says, I don't know. One person, his financially is well off. One person's financially not well off. The one that's financially not well off, he sits there and a shikayat comes out. This is difficult times. Inflation, prices have gone up. Have you seen the price of houses? He's complaining. Should he be complaining? No. Shouldn't be complaining. You're allowed to vent. But shikayat is only to Allah, as they say, right? And we all do it. But it's to Allah. And the zangeen, the ghani, the rich, he's looking at the poor and he's the guy that's poor and he's saying, Yaar, takunun bara beshukra. This guy's na shukra. He's got no great gratitude. Takko is gharib. Takko is complaining about money, etc., etc., etc. And then the poor guy sat there and the zangeen starts and he says, Yaar, you know what? Money, look, everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Yaar, look at my life. You're just talking about money as dunya. I got problems at home. I got issues with the wife. I haven't talked to my wife in 6 months. I got massive issues. Can't have children. This, etc., etc. I got this issue going on. My wife doesn't get on with my mother. Doesn't get on with my sister. I don't get on with her brother. Don't get, etc. And the poor guy who's got, mashallah, very nice family life. Everybody's happy at home and everything is good. He's looking and thinking, yeah, look at this guy. Complaining. He should just be happy that he's got a wife. You know what I mean? The point is, everybody's tribulations are different. So somebody could be looking at you thinking, look at my taqwa in this masala. But he's looking at you thinking, look at my taqwa in this masala. Because different people find different things easy and different people find different things hard. That's a really important qaida. Because it helps you to be less judgmental of people. Now, by not being judgmental, that doesn't mean that we don't do amr bil ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. Commanding the good and forbidding the evil, that's important. I'm not saying that you don't, but it just means that the way that you do it is more empathetic because you know, how would I like someone to say this to me? You get what I'm trying to say? There's a way that you could, I tell you, so many things, here I'm in my best behavior. Yeah? My best behavior. Right? And but even then, sometimes you might do something, it's khilaful awla, or you could have done it better, or you didn't take people into consideration. I've had it many times. Our Buzurg, for example, loving, they'll come up to you, they'll be like, look, think about this, you're doing this, it could cause these problems. Do you understand? Now, I don't mind that. Why? Because somebody come with ikhlas, sincerity, they came and they said, it's happened to me many, many times. Come to you like, you do this, for example, it could cause these problems. And you don't want that. What do you think? Why? Because you could always, but they do it with a dard in it. You could only do it with a dard when you want someone to tell you like that. Whereas if you come up, or you make ghibat of somebody, or you come up and you start shouting at them, oh, hey, kya kitte hoye? Right? Etc. Is that how you'd want someone to talk to you? You wouldn't want someone to talk to you like that. So that dard, our Buzurg are very good at it. Very good at it. Because unna dunya tak, zindagi takivi honi, as they say, right? So they understand when you talk to somebody, how you tell them, where it doesn't offend them, etc. Why? Because you have izzatul nafs. Izzatul nafs. So it's the same thing, mashallah. So it's the same thing when you're doing amr bil ma'ruf and nahi. It's important. You have to do it. Otherwise, if we don't do amr bil ma'ruf and nahi anil munkar, oh, asa sare fir gaya na. You have to. You have to. But with that dard, knowing that this person may be more muttaqi than me in everything else, it's just in this one mas'ala. This one mas'ala. You see what I'm trying to say? In this one mas'ala, maybe I'm better than him. Maybe I'm better than him in this one mas'ala. You don't know? You don't know. That doesn't mean that that outward is not important. For example, we Pakistanis, Azza ki dari na baraya. Yeah? And we have a big issue with the beard, right? The subcontinent. Everyone has to have a beard. Do they have to have a beard? Of course they do. Yeah. But how are you going to tell them? You get what I'm trying to say? Like if I come up to somebody and I'm like, you don't have a beard. Am I right? Yes, I am right. But it could be that he prays tahajjud, I don't pray tahajjud. It could be that he's really good to his family, I'm nasty to my family. It could be that he avoided riba his whole life and I fell into riba. I thought, ठीक है कि नहीं कि no? Kafiran, कि नहीं कि no? Kafiran na mulk hai na, कि नहीं कि no? Someone said to me, what was the masla? The masla. It was yesterday night as well. A lot happened there last night, mashallah. And he said to me something like, Ghaziya masla alala. You know what that means, Ghaziya masla alala? You know when you're in Ghaza, in battle, the Malik Ghanimah, you're the war booty, alala. You know, please, this munafiqat is unbelievable. You tax then you can't do that. You can't have your cake and eat it, unfortunately. You can't do that. So either it's not, you're not a ghazi in the land, in which case you have to abide, and you have to abide. But this is taqwa. This is taqwa, isn't it? This is taqwa. I'll give you another example. You can have a Maulana Sahib. I'm not attacking Maulana here, by the way. Yeah? You can have a Maulana Sahib. I've seen this with my own eyes. I heard it with my own ears. And one time it happened, wallahi, I regret not standing up and saying something. I only didn't do it out of the same thing that we learned from our Buzurg, which is tariqe na samjhaina bande ki. With nice, be nice with people, yeah? Qawl and layn, you're supposed to do that. You shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Otherwise, the sunnah was to stand up at that point, and I'll tell you why. I was in a place, I had a bayan, Juma bayan. There was another one as well. And literally, he was attacking people. Pointing people out, Jatu or topi laya, Jatu or topi laya, Jatu kopuya, etc. No problem. There is a problem. You don't know the guy. The guy could have just literally just put out his joint before he came in and just came in for Jum'ah and now you're kicking him back out again. There's a way. Tariqana. The shabab out there, people are going through a lot. Help him into the masjid, don't push him out. Bashiru wa la tunaffiru. Give glad tidings, don't push people away. Yassiru wa la tu'assiru. Make it easy, don't make it hard. That's the hadith. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. Allah said, He wants ease for you, no hardship. This deen is not supposed to be difficult. Anyway, and then it came time to, Ilan. Alhamdulillah, Aylesbury Masjid, we don't have, the long, they leave the last 15 minutes. I've been there. My taqreer finished at 10 past. From 10 past until 25 past, they were reading it like, the way some people do Taraweeh. Yeah? फलाने आज 10 पौंड फलाने आज 10 पौंड फलाने आज 10 पौंड फलाने आज 5 पौंड दिता 2 पौंड दिते उन्हें 2.5 पौंड दिते उन्हें 1 पौंड दिता उन्हें IOU दिता उन्हें. It's just a joke. It's such a joke. That was prime time for the bayan. But your prime audience wasn't that. Your prime audience was your funders. And the masjid was supposed to do tabligh. It was like, no. Sare ki 10 ko 5 पौंड दिते ताकि वो देने रहें. Your rizq is with Allah. The rizq of this Allah's house. Sara the car hai nahi. Now we're going to look after it. Badhiya sa aaya. Asa masjid banaya ji. Asa masjid nahi kitta. Asa masjid nahi kitta. Allah gave you tawfiq to do it. When Rasulullah ﷺ entered Makkah Mukarramah, his head, blessed head, was so low, it was as if it was touching the back of the camel. That's how humble he was that Allah gave me Fatah Makkah. He didn't come in and Takko ji. Deko. Who came in? No, al-yawm yawm al-marhama. He said, today's a day of rahmah. That was a day of sajda, of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look, Ya Allah, what you honored us with. That's how you do khidmat of Allah's houses. Kuch nahi kitta, sa kuch nahi kitta. Jo kitta, Allah kitta. Shukr, Allah ta'ala made us wasila for that. Bas. But that 10-15 minutes, it makes me sick. I absolutely can't stand it. And so they were doing the marathon. And But this is another one. And he gets up, and this is the Maulana Sahib, and he says, Falane masjid ni business unna kholi hai. Check this out. The unna masjid ni, and it was something as well, like 20 quid or something, yeah? Business kholi hai na, the vipo nitne, right? Business kholi hai. I have to shout out to all the business, unless you're a poor business. If you're a proper business, you're making money, please don't donate £20 hoping for some free advertisement for your business. Right? Don't do that, please, yeah? Allah Master, don't do it. Don't make a mockery of Allah's masjid. Yeah? And if these words, if people don't like it, they have to ask why they don't like it. Either you don't like it because it's not true. If it's not true, come and tell me. And if you don't like it because it's true, then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. So he says, Fulani business unna vi punati masjidani ta unke paas ye bhi service hai, ye bhi service hai, ye bhi service hai, ye bhi service hai, ye bhi service hai. And I regret till this day not standing up. I make tawbah for that. Because when the man came in the masjid and he said, I've lost my camel, I think it was right. And the Prophet ﷺ stood up and he said, may you never find the camel. Why? Because you're not allowed to advertise anything in the masjid. Hatta ke kusana batwa gavija. Someone loses their wallet. You're not allowed to say, oh kusana batwa gavija ji. No. Halaki, that's a good thing, isn't it? No advertisement, no business, no money involved. The poor man's lost his wallet. You can't advertise it in the masjid like that. The Prophet did mana of it. And here you got the most important people in the masjid standing up, giving you free advertising because you're a donor. And yet on the flip side, you're slapping everybody for not wearing topia. You see what I'm trying to say? Where the taqwa comes in. Where the taqwa comes in. That when it matters. Because here you're thinking to yourself, nah, this is, when it comes to money, that all the taqwa goes straight out the window. Forget about it. It's gone. Oh, toba kari ki insana. Baad chi, right? Una sa kam chalana. No. Taqwa is in those really important moments. Those, those where what can I give up? Am I being a mani' for Allah's deen? Am I? Am I being a mani'? Am I hindering the work of Allah's deen? For what? You're going to die. You're going to die. How long are you going to live? No one knows. Finished. All of that was for what? Meet ajib lagna. Sometimes you see elders, when they got zameen issues, land issues, they'll be 70, 80 years of age, still fighting over the same bit of land. Just let it go. Unless it's your haqq, in which case don't let it go, no problem. Sunnah. The Prophet said if you died for your land, you're shaheed. But you know when it's not, and you know when it's not your land. And the Qabis knows who the Qabis is, and the Maqbuz knows who the Maqbuz is, right? And the taqi, you think you're about to die. You're about to die. Oh, Mari Bachya Masta. I'll end with this one. I just did the commentary on the remaining verses. We'll start the first hadith tomorrow. Subhanallah. I'll mention this. You know what? I'll do the hadith tomorrow. In fact, yes, I'll do it. I'll end on this. Hazrat Abu Talib, Hazrat Abdul Muttalib, the Prophet's grandfather. When the Quraysh, on the way, not the Quraysh, when Abraha and his army were coming to attack the Kaaba. When they were coming to attack the Kaaba, along the way they stole Hazrat Abdul Muttalib's camels. And when Hazrat Abdul Muttalib was the Amir, isn't he? He was the head of Quraysh. So when he went out to meet them, and they thought he's going to come out, please don't attack the Kaaba. He goes, oh, give me my camels back. And they said, oh, you're not worried about the Kaaba. And he goes, the Kaaba has its Rabb. I'm the Rabb of the camels. Meaning these are in my possession, that's Allah's possession. That's Allah's possession. He'll take care of his house. I'll give my camels back. That there, that's really important. That's taqwa, right there. Who's going to take care of your kids? The one that gave them to you in the first place? That's the one. In Surah Al-Kahf, have you ever focused about the two boys, the two yatims? When Hazrat Khizr and Hazrat Musa rebuilt up the wall. And when he says to him, why did you do that for? And he says, because this is the wealth, the treasure of two yatims, two orphans is buried underneath. Wa abuhuma salih. Their father was what? Salih, pious. Look at that. The father's gone. Allah's taking care of the wealth of the children behind. You don't have to worry about that. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe I was a little bit open. on this. But it's just that, it's important with taqwa that you always have a husn al-dhan. Because like I said, he could find that easy that I don't find easy. And I can find something easy you don't find easy. You get what I'm trying to say? Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's struggling. That's why the Prophet said, Al-mu'min lil-mu'min kal-bunyan. A believer is for another believer like a building block. يَشُدُّ بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا. They strengthen each other. That's the whole point. And with ikhlas, when somebody tells you something, you won't mind. Because unless you've got a huge ego. In that case, only Allah. Nobody can help you. Right? Only Allah can help you. But otherwise, people understand that. Because it comes from a place of the heart. Real place of the heart. Not a place of, I'm judging you and making your life hard unnecessarily. It's like the guy that, the guy, it was going around, his profile picture is him with his top off, he's got little tight shorts on, and then he's commenting on a Muslim woman's post saying that you need to have better hijab, right? And she's wearing the headscarf and everything, right? But he just felt the need to comment because, she needs to wear hijab. And it was so shameful because the response is like, you're not wearing any clothes yourself. And you're saying it to me. It's that. Where you could only see the flaws of other people, forgetting that you have hijab as well. Like, like the knee thing now. Everyone's walking around showing their knees. Unless you're Shafis. Even then, because you still have to cover it, right? Even though it's not wajib, but ma yusil al-wajib, because it leads to the wajib, then you cover it. Then you can go to the Malikis where they go a little bit higher. But aside from that, and no, I don't know why I was pointing at him. Closet. Yeah, we had a conversation. Closet, he's a closet Malik. But the point is that, why I mentioned that story is, look how common this is. Not focusing on what you're doing, focusing on what the other person is doing. And when we do amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy al munkar, when we ourselves are practicing on the deen, it has a whole different, it's a game changer then. And people listen to you, people listen to you. But as long as you're a munafiq, then who's going to listen to you? May Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I make a dua that Allah Ta'ala give us eyes that can see only our own faults, and Allah hides the faults of other people from us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, I don't want to be a witness to anyone's faults, and I don't want anyone to be a witness to my faults. Ya Allah, give me husn al-dhan of the believers, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, expose to me my own faults and cover them from everybody else in this dunya and the akhirah. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen, beg of you, Ya Allah, Ya Rabbal Alameen, give us tawfiq to strengthen each other, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and to call towards goodness, Ya Rabbal Alameen, and to help each other on this journey to you, Ya Rabbal Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Wa sallallahu wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ameen bi rahmatika ya Arhamar Rahimin.